So does it make sense to go to mediation versus an attorney? I mean, is there like some delineation, like if X, then go to mediator, if Y, then...
So an interesting thing is I really like working as part of a team and providing my clients with all the resources they may need.
Okay.
So I say to them in their very first mediation session when I'm explaining to them what mediation is, which I'm required to do by the Supreme Court of Virginia. And we
Your
sign...
disclosure, right?
Yes, exactly. And we actually sign an agreement to mediate that says this is what mediation is. It's completely voluntary and this is what it looks like.
Right.
So one part of that is that my clients have the right to consult with an attorney at any time during mediation.
Okay.
And to review the agreement that I'm going to draft for them at the end of mediation after all decisions are made on each issue.
Okay.
I encourage attorney review.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my clients do not want to go to an attorney for various reasons, whether it's the cost, whether they've had a bad experience with an attorney. But some of them do. Maybe
Right.
half of my attorneys do and half of them don't.
Right.
And so it's always good to have an attorney consult or an attorney that you can call and consult with, or an attorney waiting outside of the room. Having said that, I generally do not have attorneys in the mediation room or sitting outside of the room. In DC courts, they will sit outside of the room in the family division.
Really?
But in my cases, if my client wants to speak to his or her attorney, they'll step out to make a call, or they'll make a call after the mediation.
Right.
There may be other resources my clients might need. They might need a parenting coordinator if they're having trouble coming up with a parenting plan. I've had maybe dad wants to keep 3 babies from mom because dad's mad at mom that mom wants divorce. In that case, a parenting coordinator can be very helpful in explaining that children do really well when both parents are in their lives.
Right.
I can say that a lot, but it's helpful for a parenting coordinator to also tell the parents that.
And who is a parenting coordinator? Is that also somebody part of, I mean, how do you get to be a parent coordinator?
Usually,
not to go down a rabbit hole, but I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's usually a PhD, a therapist.
Oh, okay. So like okay.
Who works with parents a lot who are getting divorced.
Okay.
I often will work with a divorce financial neutral.
Oh.
If there are complicated tax or retirement questions, and we'll either bring the divorce financial neutral into mediation for maybe 20 minutes, bring them in by phone. I may say to my clients, would you like to email the divorce financial neutral or set up a phone call? So we talk about what's the best way, in what way would you like to work with the divorce financial neutral.
Right.
Mediation is super flexible in terms of meeting the unique circumstances of each family or each party that I'm mediating with.
Right.
So we'll talk about, would you like to bring this person in, or would you like to go out and see this person? Just keep me, the mediator, in the loop, because I can best help you when I'm in the loop.
Right. Right. Not this loop where you keep saying
Exactly.
This loop,
Exactly. Right. Your team of resources are here to help you.
Right.
And some clients don't need any kind of a team, but others are very welcoming of resources that may be helpful to them.
And then do you charge is it a flat fee? Is it an hourly fee? Do you work, I mean, how does that work? Is it a percentage of the result? I was
at a conference in San Diego, and all the Western mediators are now doing flat fees, which is like another language to me.
Wow, interesting.
Because I just charge people for my time, and I'm very transparent. You are just paying me for my time. And so they start paying me at the end of mediation. They pay me for my time.
Right.
If it's 2 hours, they pay me my hourly rate in the mediation room at the end of 2 hours.
Got it.
If after 90 minutes they are exhausted and drained, they just pay me for 90 minutes. Now, it's very rare that people want to stop mediating, because once we start, people really like it. They feel heard, they feel acknowledged, they take turns talking and listening to each other. So they really don't want it to end, and the time goes by very fast in the mediation room. So they pay me for my time in the mediation room. I go back and I do session notes for them, and I send them the session notes. They pay me for my time doing the session notes, which is usually 30 to 60 minutes. If we've done 15 issues, 60 minutes. If we've done 3 issues, 30 minutes.
Right.
And it's not minutes, it's sort of organized by issue.
Right.
Eventually, when it comes time to write the agreement, I write the agreement and I charge people for my time writing the agreement.
Okay.
If we're doing a lot of emails and phone calls, I bill for that as well. But mediation works best when we're face to face.
Right.
So there's no need for a lot of phone calls and emails.
Right.
And I really don't like billing people for that.
Yeah.
I started to, because I started realizing how much time I was spending on phone calls and emails. And so I decided I really needed to bill my time.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. that's part of your value, right?
Right, exactly.
That you're offering to them.
Exactly. So I don't really know how to do a flat fee because to me the fairest way is just to bill people for my time.
Right.
And I tend to discount time if I think, oh, that shouldn't have taken me so long.
Right.
And I don't even tell people I'm discounting my time. So I need to be better about saying, this is how long it took me, and I'm discounting my time if I felt it took me a little longer than it should have.
So I guess that brings up a good point that we didn't really talk about. So once you've mediated, then does that go over to the judge to be signed off, or that's it? That's like, that is how you're going to exchange money, the
That's a really good
kids
question.
or whatever.
Okay, so in back to DC courts. So when we're in the mediation room and I've written up an agreement, I get the court to stamp the agreement.
Right.
And I give copies to the parties, and they're all finished. And there's default language in the agreement, which means if one party doesn't do what that party says he or she is going to do, then the other party can give notice that that party is going to file a claim for the amount of money.
Right.
So that's the default language.
Okay.
So the parties just walk away with the stamped agreement. They don't have to go back in the courtroom. They're all finished.
So that's legally binding,
Legally
right?
binding.
Okay.
And there's no adverse effect in terms of a credit rating, whereas a judgment against somebody can affect your credit rating.
Right.
So people like mediation in DC courts. That's another reason people like it.
Yeah.
So with family mediations, I have had cases, and I'm thinking of a relocation case,
Right.
where the parties decided they just wanted to come to a written agreement and have it notarized about what relocation was going to look like between the parties. Most of the time,
Were they relocating together? Interesting.
They were relocating together to another state.
Huh. Okay.
So they didn't want attorneys, they didn't want to file anything, they didn't want to formally amend their agreement that they had previously regarding their divorce. They just wanted, because this had fallen apart before, and it was verbal before. So they just wanted it in writing, and they just wanted it notarized.
Right.
So that's what we did. And again, I always say it's up to you.
Right.
And so, but in family cases, there are a variety of things you can do with the agreement. So families can actually file for divorce on their own. They can take my agreement, they can go to the Arlington County website if we're in Arlington, follow the directions, do the paperwork, and just file using my agreement. Or they can take it to a filing and reviewing attorney. Each of them can get a filing and reviewing attorney.
Right.
And they can say, please spend 1 hour. They manage their attorney. Don't spend all day. Spend 1 hour on this. This document affects my legal rights, and I just want to make sure I've got an attorney to review it, since my mediator is neutral, and my mediator cannot do that for me.
Right.
So sometimes parties do that, and then one of the attorneys will be the filing attorney, it doesn't matter who, and actually file for divorce on behalf of those clients.
Oh, okay.
With regard to a business partner dispute, it may be where they just want to have a written agreement that spells out what each partner is going to do.
Right.
They may or may not want to get it notarized. Up to them if they want to have a legal review and what to do with that document.
Right.
So it depends
Okay.
on what type of agreement it is.
Right. That makes sense.